So good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to have everybody with us this afternoon. If you were part of us on the morning session, on the morning segment, please can you wave or show of hand, or just go to the comment section and say that you were in the morning session. I think we'll be able to take your feedback. Oh, Aderonke Bilola was part of us in the morning. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Who else was part of us in the morning? Busola, can we give Aderonke Bilola opportunity to say a few things about the morning session?
Okay, Abomucha.
All right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
The
Can
session
we see your face?
Okay.
Busola, that would be too much. I thought it was a guy, so yeah, but
My hair is not well made, so it's better to keep me.
We'll manage.
Okay, very well then. All right, so the session was quite impactful, especially that the session taken by Mr. Shola Dekweto talking about how to conserve funds and to cut down all expenses post COVID-19 era. And then he advised on investing in technology, since we're all aware that now technology is a must-have. We must have the technical know-how. So he advised on that. And then he talked about having, he talked about Wheels offering essential services like Wheels, since everybody is panicking as to whether they're going to live long or not. He's saying that now is the time to engage and reach out to people and enlighten them on having their wills drafted, even though it can be lost, but it can be, they can arrange or have their assets documented. So I think those are the few points I can note down, but my
wow. Thank you so much for participating and for recalling that and bringing to our remembrance. I see Adeshola Adeyemi Busola. Can you allow Adeshola Adeyemi for just 2 minutes or so?
She has the floor.
Hello, Shola.
Yes. Hi.
Good afternoon. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Okay, so I was here in the morning. No. I don't want to do videos. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay, so most especially I really enjoyed the sessions or the speakers. I really enjoyed the speakers, all of them as a matter of fact, but I think I can relate more to Mr. Adepeto, and some of the things I learned, like earlier the person who just talked about, will and estate planning. But from that I also learned that apart from the fact that people are panicking now whether or not they will live long, we can also come from the aspect of teaching people how to build businesses that will outlive them. That's one of the things that I put down in my notes. Not just will now and estate planning,
That's
because most people
planning for their businesses.
Yeah, succession planning, something like that. And the fact, and then negotiation and mediation between landlords and tenants now, because most people will have issues paying their rent and all that. And then I also learned that one of the things I can do to keep my client-centric, like you put it, is to be abreast with government policies and teach my clients how it affects them, and offer them
that's CBN incentive, right? I heard the figure of 1 trillion naira.
Yes, and then government politics, policies and incentives offered by the government, And you know, we come across all these loans for women in business, blah blah, and all that. You know, how I can make my clients aware of those kind of opportunities and teach them how to make use of it. And those are some of the things that I have written in my book. Thank you for hearing my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shola. I wish I could take more people because I see the hands of plenty people up saying that they were part of us in the morning. However, we might not be able to take everybody as we have. Hello? Okay. It's 10 past 2 already, and I think we should just move headlong into this afternoon session. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and you're welcome to SLB's virtual summit, Advancing the Practice and Business of Law in Complex Times. We all have no doubts that we are definitely in complex times. The COVID-19 pandemic has come to disrupt a lot of things, and with disruption, we all have had to also reinvent ourselves or renovate ourselves so that we can essentially survive in these times and in the times to come. This is a program put together, as I've said, by SLB. SLB's pioneered and visionary is Busola Ajala, small but mighty, small and brave. My relationship with her spans, I think, about 10 years or more, and I've known her to be very, very dogged and a go-getter. Ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon session is going to be taken by a distinguished scholar and legal practitioner. She's a managing partner at Pavestones Legal, and as Busola had earlier introduced, she was, I think, our boss at Nine Mobile. So I think she has some technology inclinations. Seun Timi-Koleolu is the managing partner at Pavestones Legal, a fast-growing full-service law firm based in Lagos. Prior to setting up the practice, she was both in the law firm and corporate sector, and she will be sharing with us about how she pivoted the different stages of her legal career. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I know you cannot clap where you are, but please do me a round of applause in the spirit for Seun. We also have, as the moderator for this segment, a friend as well. I've known her, I think, for about 3 years or so. She's a partner at Way Practice. She'll be moderating the session. We'll understand that those of us that were here in the morning, we saw that we had Bayo on Amadi moderate the session. And by the way, Bayo did an amazing job at moderating. We can't clap, sorry. So thank you, Bayo, for that. We have Kemi Afesojaye, partner Way Practice. She will be the one moderating the session as we proceed. But for now, I'll hand you over to the convener of the summit, Busola Ajala, for a few words. Then Kemi will take over with the questions for our distinguished speaker for this session. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Omo. Thank you so much. Our favorite MC. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for being here in the morning. And thank you for big thank you to those that shared the learning sessions. I would hope that we would not just stop by the sharing, but would apply all that we have learned, and we would ensure that we infuse them into our legal practice so that we can become profitable lawyers. Of course, that's the essence of the conversations we keep having here and all the time in SLB, to ensure that we're not just lawyers, but we are profitable lawyers. There is something to show for it. There is money in the account. There's money in the pockets, particularly in this trying and complex times. Thank you for being here. And so I also want to say thank you for those of you that have followed us so far on our social media pages. I want to crave your indulgence that if you have not followed us, please follow us, like us, show us some love, celebrate us, and share your learnings also. Share your learnings as well with other people so that they can hear about the beautiful thing we are doing in Strictly Law Biz. So we put this summit together to help us navigate complex times. A lot of us may be confused at this time. Some of us may have lost our jobs. Some of us, our jobs may be on the line. Some of us don't know, post-COVID, people would have, our jobs again. But it's important that in whatever phase we find ourselves, or whichever way the wind blows, we're able to navigate through it. We are able to know what to do, and we are well equipped with tips and strategies, to move ourselves and our practice forward. And that's just the essence of this summit, so that we're not carried away in this lockdown and expecting that things will still be normal after the lockdown, but would be able to prepare and anticipate whatever eventualities may arise, may face us after the lockdown. So thank you very much for everyone who has been here. Thank you again for investing in yourselves, because that's very important. You went beyond, just accepting the free and then investing in yourself. I want to appreciate every one of you. It shows that you are people of value, and it shows also that these investments will not be a waste. Thank you so much. So I would hand over to our moderator to continue with the session. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Kemia Fesojai, and I have the privilege of moderating this session. Just before I carry on, I'd like to set a few ground rules, and that's from my experience in the morning. So here are our ground rules. Kindly mute your mic if you are not speaking or you've not been given permission to speak by the host, Busola or Omo. Kindly mute your mic. Also, put off the video function of your device, and that's just to ensure that there are no interruptions during the conversation. So with that out of the way, we can get into it. With us here today, we have Seun Timi-Koleolu. She's already been introduced, so I'm not going to waste your time by going through that long walk. But I do want Seun to tell us a bit about her career trajectory thus far, because the principal reason why we have brought her here today is to be inspired by her story. So, Seun, would you please start off by telling us about your career trajectory from the beginning up until where you are now? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kemi, and thank you, Busola, Omo, and everyone here. Yes, so I started my career as an associate at Aluko and Bode. I served my NYC there, and I continued. I was there for 3 years, after which I took a sabbatical for 7 months from Aluko and Bode to kind of think about what I wanted to do next. I decided not to move back into law practice, but to go into a company, Etisalat, then now Nine Mobile. So I joined Etisalat as specialist contracts drafting for about 3 years, and then I was promoted to the manager in charge of the corporate commercial team. I was there in total for 6 years, after which I founded Pavestones Legal with Aderunke, my co-founder. So that's a summary. I'm sure we'll go into depth now on my various phases.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Seun. That was quite brief. Thank you. Okay. I at some point in this conversation, I'll also be roping in Busola Ajala, and that's because Busola also has a history of pivoting. So I would consider her contributions to this discussion also very important. Just to bring everybody up to speed, what Seun is discussing today primarily is titled Pivoting Different Phases for a Profitable Law Practice. So that's the topic of what we'll be delving into now. So here comes my next question. Your career has spanned across being a law firm associate, being in-house, and now running your own private practice. So how did you transition at each phase? How did you, when you get to the point where, okay, you said something very interesting. You took a 7-month sabbatical before you decided what next to do. So how did you transition? You know, everybody knows that a butterfly goes from egg to larva to pupa, builds a cocoon at some point. So that kind of heralds every point of its transition. At every point of your own transition, what heralded it? What was around it as an individual? What led to the transition?
Okay. I'm going to kind of start first from when I finished law school and started Aluko, because I can say that my career trajectory has kind of been like in phases. There was that phase 1 apprenticeship stage, which was at Aluko, then the building phase at Etisalat, and then Pavestones, and I'll kind of talk you through it and hopefully answer your question in the process. So I joined Aluko as an associate NYC. The decision to join that Aluko was based on I wanted to associate with the best. I did some research looking for what the best law firm was in Nigeria, and I found from Chamber Global and various journals that Aluko was one of the best. It wasn't easy to get in, so no one should kind of think I just had it given to me. I had to do a test, interview, and almost kind of fight to get the spot. But I was focused on associating with what I thought was the best. So I got in there. At the apprenticeship, at this stage, I might have been intelligent. Yes, I was intelligent, but I had to learn. I was at a stage where I had to be humble to learn things from people there. Obviously, when you're in that kind of environment, there are people who have gone ahead of you, who have done a lot, who have learned already, and it's great for you to soak up as much as you can. And you have to do it with humility, because it's not always easy. Some people might be hostile. The environment might not always be, not everyone would embrace you. But I was humble. I put myself out there. Even the opportunity to work didn't come easily at Aluko. I had to kind of go to partners and say, please, can I help you? Please, can I help you with that? I was focused on commercial law because I found I was interested in businesses and kind of helping businesses become profitable. But I got some experience in litigation. I got the opportunity to try some litigation, and I decided it wasn't for me. And then I focused on commercial work. I was excited by projects and deals, transactions. I was willing to stay as late as necessary to do the work. And that meant stretching myself beyond limits sometimes. I would go home with the work. I would have it on my bed. I would do all I had to do a good job. And I'm explaining all these things because there are certain principles that each person needs to have for success, to be successful. But at some stage, at your apprenticeship stage, you need to then realize that if you are clear on where you're going, you then know when it's time to leave. I wouldn't say I was completely clear on where I was going to end up, but at some point I knew I had learned and it no longer suited me. I'll tell you a story. At some point, I went to advise the CEO of a multinational company on behalf of Aluko and everybody. And I advised him and he was impressed. So he asked me about myself, to tell him a bit about myself, my educational background and all that. And I told him. And I don't know how this man convinced me, but he got me to tell him what I was getting paid. And I told him. And he said, wow, with all your education and all that, is that what you're accepting? And you know, that's what happens to a lot of us lawyers. And I said, yes, it's for the experience. I'm there for the experience. And the man said to me, and how long will this experience go on for? And for me, that was like, he might not know the impact that had on me, but it kept going through my mind a lot. How long will this experience go on for? As in, I think a lot of lawyers, sometimes we get stuck in the experience stage because we keep being told that we're not ready, you're not ready. So at some point, I got dissatisfied, knowing that I could do more. I wanted to get another experience. And because I had worked well, with my boss, with various partners, I had the privilege of asking for a sabbatical. And to have that privilege is because you obviously have established that you're good at what you do. So they don't want to let you go. So I had the privilege to go and sit with my boss and say, I need some time off. I need to kind of find, and I also was about to get married. So it was a good explanation. I'm about to get married, and I also want to kind of reflect and find my creative side, and then I might come back. I didn't say that. At the end of my sabbatical and time of self-reflecting anyway, I was clear I no longer wanted to go to a law firm. The next phase was Etisalat. I wanted to go into a company. That also didn't come to me on a platter of gold, because some people have this impression that for you must have been easy, you just had it. No, I went about looking for work. And I'm also a very prayerful person, so I did it prayerfully. And I think you kind of call to yourself what you want also, because when I go into Etisalat, if an associate at A&O told me that, Seun, how did you get there? You used to dance and sing to us that you're going to Etisalat, Abu Dhabi money, Etisalat money. So apparently I had been kind of calling that onto myself without realizing. To get into Etisalat, I'm sure at some point we might get to that, but it was at each stage, people help you. People help you. And it was in the course of reflecting and looking for a mentor that this opportunity came to me to find a mentor at Etisalat. And rather than, I sent my CV to this lady who I'd never met before, but it was kind of time and chance, because at that point there was an opening and she didn't have time to talk to me. So she just sent it to HR and I was called for an interview. And that was a surprise to me, because I actually was just looking to talk to her for advice. But it was fantastic. So that was time and chance. I went for the interview and it was contract drafting, which is a skill set that I had built. And it was something I had developed at Aluko. I was good at drafting contracts. I think at your apprenticeship stage, you find yourself. You get the opportunity to do different things and you find yourself. One thing I liked to do was draft contracts, negotiate commercial deals. So when I was called for this interview as contract drafting specialist, I thought, my gosh, that's me. So I went there and it was easy. I got the job. At that phase, it was now a case of learning to stand. For a lot of lawyers, we get stuck with learning the law, but there are certain skills that you need to become a leader. And sometimes it's some of those opportunities to develop that skill that kind of scares us. Sometimes it's the hostile environment, the managing people, the people who will tell you off, and you have to kind of stand and prove yourself. These things kind of build strength in you. So at this stage, I had to stand. My boss was tough. And as Busola told you guys earlier, whoever was there, I wasn't easy on her. And she was like, what's wrong with this? But I told her later that I was just trying to give to her things that helped me. I had a tough boss, but she was, there's constructive criticism. There are things that it might not be easy on you, but it's good for you. I had a boss who would say, don't come to my office not prepared with a solution. There are some lawyers, they'll come to you. They'll do the work knowing that you will improve it for them. But she was trying to build me to be someone that you have your stamp on that job. Do your best. Let it be perfect. Don't send funny work to me knowing that, my partner will now improve it or my boss will do a better job. Stand for excellence. And that's something I also learned at A&O and I took to Etisalat, and she also built that. Be a person of excellence. Put your stamp. When your stamp is on something, let it be good. So she wasn't easy on me. Don't come to my office without a solution. So what's next? What's the solution? And she always appreciated when I would come and I'll say, so this is the issue, but this is the solution. And say, okay, do you agree with me? And at some point, at first she was tough with me, but at some point she started thanking me because I built those values. It was a case of, wow, thank you. Now I can sleep. Now, so there was learning to do work independently and without having my boss hover over me. And the thing is, just a tip there, if you can do that, you definitely are positioning yourself for a promotion or as a leader. When you're someone who does your job in a way that your boss feels like they can sleep when you're on the job, you are in a good place. And that was what I tried to do. To do those things meant that I had to stretch myself. Look, when you got into a place of excellence, when your body is pain, you're uncomfortable. Because am I going to read this document one more time? Oh my God. As in, you have an option of submitting it a bit, knowing that it's not perfect, but she'll catch it. Or saying, because I am Seun and I am a person of excellence, this is how I'm going to make sure I dot my I's, I cross my T before I give it. And those are the kind of values I had. That was just, and I know how excruciating it was sometimes. It wasn't easy, but that was who I wanted to be. Now, there was also having to develop emotional intelligence. You want to lead a law practice, you want to lead anything, you have to know how to manage people. You need to get to, at some stage, it's no longer about if you know the law. It goes without saying that you know the law. What you need to do is manage people. You need to learn how to touch hearts, make people feel good. Even when you're trying to draw clients in, they need to feel good with you. And even if you're looking for a promotion in your job, you want your boss to feel like he's your boss. You never want to bring your boss down because you're good and then you start making that boss feel uncomfortable. They won't tell you, they'll just meet you somewhere. Then you're junior, you have to learn to manage hostility and conflicts in the workplace. But all these things are leadership skills. And then when I left Etisalat, my decision to leave Etisalat, I got to a place also, I'd managed the team, and then I was clear that I was beginning to feel contained. I could do more because I always had it in me to build something. And it wasn't the angry boss that chased me out or things not going right or something, because sometimes some people run out of situations because they can't deal with the heat. But it wasn't time to live in a place of heat because there was a point when it was a very hot environment. It was time to leave when I knew I had learned enough to step up, to take the next stage, to go and run something of my own. And I knew it within me. There wasn't anything else to learn for me. It wasn't that I was perfect, but you'll never be perfect in anything. You just have to be ready to take the plunge, to do it and believe that you're good enough. And I'd gotten to that stage. So I then moved to phase 3, which is founding Pavestones. And so I'm sure you're going to ask me questions. I hope I've kind of answered your question in all this, but I don't want to say everything because I know you have more questions for me. Kemi?
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And I'm also waiting with their questions as well. But yes,
okay.
Your story has shown that at every point where you felt that I can do more was more or less the point where you felt this is the time to transition. Every time you feel low, every time you felt contained was when you knew that this was the time to go on to something else. So this leads to my next question. So did you mentioned a bit of it, but I want you to speak to it more right now. So you said something about getting into A&O, you were looking for the best firm, it was carefully planned, At the same time, leaving A&O, there was also a bit of planning to it. You took 7 months off, But was it all carefully mapped out from the beginning? Because sometimes there's this pressure to be perfect. One day where there's social media, you see a lot of things going on. Somebody tells you, I see my mates, So you think, this person has it all figured out, Did you have it all mapped out from the beginning where you were starting that, yes, I'm going to build something. Now, your story has said, you've said from your story that at each junction, what happened, what changed, what So I need you to speak more to what your mindset was at the very beginning, because a lot of us are at a position where maybe you're mid or you're at the beginning. So you're saying to yourself, when you're at that beginning point, do you need to have it all figured out? That's my question. Do you need to have it all figured out at the beginning of anything? Do you need to have it all worked out? Plan well, everything from the beginning? Or do you just seize opportunities as they arise?
Okay, so I will tell you my own side, and I'll tell you the right side also. So from my own end, I didn't have it all planned out. I had values, but no. If you told me years ago that the law firm that I ran away from and took sabbatical, and when they started calling me, I was like, oh Lord, no. So that now I would then be running a law firm. Nah, I would have said, no, it's not possible. Right. So I didn't have it all planned out. But if I look back from now, you can see there were certain values I built along the way, certain things that were kind of leading me there. But yeah. So did I have it all mapped out? No. But I had that need. Okay, my mindset. One thing is that I think it's important to believe in yourself from the onset. Believe in yourself. I hear a lot of lawyers sometimes, they say, oh, there's no work, there's no this. Sometimes some people are they're so small-minded. They don't believe that they can stretch out and do more. And I think that is one thing I had. I believed that there was more for me. And I think the legal profession can be like that. Sometimes it kind of pays the partners to keep you thinking, you're not yet there, you're not there. You're okay, but you're getting there. So that when they don't give you that bonus, it's because you had some questions marked there. Yeah, so I think sometimes, especially the legal profession, there's that trap of I'm always learning. I'm not yet there. I'm not yet there. And I also had that struggle. But I also had something, and as I told you, I'm a prayerful person. But I also had something deep inside me saying, you can do more. You can do more. So I desired for more. Clarity on what the more was, I didn't have. And I would say that because I didn't have clarity on what the more was, that might have kept me a bit longer, maybe at a Tisalat. Because when you're not clear on where you're going, you don't know the steps to take in between to get there. But I got clarity, thank God, a bit later. I got clarity. But one thing that helped me, and anyway, speaking to anyone who you are like, I don't even know where I'm going, blah, it's okay. I didn't know exactly where I was going, but at least I had the right values. And that's one thing I encourage everyone to have, the right values. Don't be shabby at your job. Don't be the person that's just there to make that paycheck and that check and go home. And people who say, oh, it's not my father's, I can't come and kill my... Be someone that once you're given something, you want to do it well. And it's not because you need anybody's accolade. I got to a point in my career where I said it to one of my bosses that, look, I don't need any praises. And I don't give anybody power to praise me or to put me down also, because if my confidence comes from my boss feeling good about me, it means that the next day when she's feeling bad, I will drop in confidence. So don't do things because I want to prove to this person I'm good enough. Do it because you want to prove to yourself. You want to continue to improve and get to the best, to the top, right? But I'm happy that there's a program like this and that a lot of people are signing up, because I didn't have this opportunity. But I learned along the way. Now, for me now, I would say to anybody who kind of wants to ensure they get where they need to get, that you clearly set out your vision as quickly as possible. And you might say to me, how do I know my vision? I don't really even know myself. I always tell people, write your story down. Take a book, write your story down. Write it as if God had said to you, Kemi, I'm giving you a blank check. What do you want for yourself? Just, if I open heaven now and give you everything, what do you want? If without thinking of your finances, your limitations, your anything, just take a book and write that story. Write it as if you were called to a platform somewhere and you were introduced, and you were called 10 years from now because you had succeeded. And they were saying, so this is Kemi Afesho. Sorry, let me know more than your son. So Kemi is coming, she's the founder of this, she's the this. What do you want them to say about you? Write that story down, because it kind of guides you. I did it, but I did it late. But still, write it and say, okay, write your full story, my family, my life, I'm writing like, okay, so Kemi is the founder of blah blah blah. She had done this with this company, she has established blah blah blah. When you write that story down, it kind of tells you what is already in your heart, because sometimes it's already in your heart. Most times who you are is there. You just don't know it because you haven't written it anywhere. It's there. When I wrote my story, it came out, it was there already. Now, when you write your story down, you know what's in your heart. Okay, I want to set up a law firm. I want it to be global. Because if God opens the heavens and tells you, I'll give you anything, are you going to say my law firm will be a success in Ikoyi? You'll be thinking big, because he said he'll give you. So that then tells you how far you need to, what you need to do to get where you want to go. And then you begin to connect the dots. Now, this is where I am, right? I am an associate at this law firm. If you say that it's a law firm you want to set up, right? Then begin to build those relationships. That's not the time to be angry with your boss who has already done it. It's time to be friends, to get to know, to ask some key questions. Like when I was at Mr. Everybody, I was just blessed. Like Mr. Everybody said to me, oh, I did mine fast. I know that stuck with me. I did it fast. I wasn't a slow. I got to establishing fast. I remember thinking, wow, he did his fast. So do I have to stay so long to do mine? So you begin to listen a bit more attentively to what people are saying around you, because it's kind of helping you connect the dots. You build the right relationships. The client, you build relationships that would then help you, guide you to the next level. And then you know how to save the resources you need to put in place. How to, at least you have a goal. And sometimes your goal is 5 years, 6 years. But you begin to put things in place knowing that this is where I want to go. But for me, as I told you, I didn't have it mapped out. I had, when I wrote my story, I also had a bigger dream, but I sought counsel. And everyone said to me, Seun, I almost left the law actually. You can't leave the law, you are good at it. I also was in that place of, this legal profession, it's hard, you're always learning. And they're, no, you're good at it, Seun. You have it, don't drop it. And it kind of helped me start forming, and I spoke to Mr. Everybody, I called people, and that idea formed, and the law firm came to be.
Wow.
I know you have unmuted yourself.
Yes, I have.
About to say, please, can you stop? Anyway, go on.
Thank you so much. Please, if you have any questions from the house, please type them in the chat room, and we'll be taking them shortly. But this is a follow-up question to the last thing you said. So at every point that you transition, did you need additional certification, additional training? Was there anything you did in addition to prepare yourself for the new place you were going to?
Okay, so when I started working as an associate, I already had a master's and a first degree and a master's. And my master's was in corporate commercial law. So that meant that I was already kind of already interested in business and commercial law, and I was told I was put in that department for commercial law, so it was good. Along the way, there were a lot of short courses. I haven't gone and done an MBA or any major, I'll be honest, but there were short courses which I did, like negotiate loan documentation, there were many contracts drafting, many courses which I was privileged to do, and my law firm actually, the law firm I was in then exposed us to a lot of that. So there were loads of courses which we did. And I think today it's also easy. You don't even need a law firm to expose you to that. There's Coursera, there are a lot of free online courses, even on Harvard. Harvard is offering free courses. There's a lot out there. So you don't necessarily have to have money to learn more. You just need to have an interest in signing up for these things. Busola, so just a lot of online courses. At Busola, it was more like leadership courses. I was paying attention to emotional intelligence and soft skills. Yeah, so that obviously there was the knowledge courses, and then there was the leadership and skills courses that kind of prepared me to lead a law firm.
Okay, so I was going there about leading a law firm. So you have a core corporate background, but your
and
law
technology.
Firm, okay, right.
Yes,
and technology, and you now have a law firm that does litigation. As a full service law firm, one of your dispute resolution services is litigation. So how did you how did you prepare to be able to do that? Considering the fact I said, I had a brief stint with litigation, I felt it wasn't my, and now it's a service that you're offering. So how are you able to bridge that gap?
Sorry to cut you. I actually heard you saying that you didn't like litigation. So for someone that didn't like litigation, how you offering? Yes, please.
So please give it to us. Let us know so we know if we're in good company.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, as I've tried to say earlier, what you need to understand is that you don't need to know it or have it. It's even almost impossible to be it all by the time you start your law firm. At the point you start your law firm, you need to have your leadership skills, your ability to hire the right people that know it all. In fact, don't be shy if they know more than you. Your ability to identify with excellence. So at least you know when an excellent job is being done. And in terms of dispute resolution and having that, I have a partner, Aderonke Alex Adedipe. She has done more litigation than I have. She is more into that. And then we also employ for that, right? So I'm not claiming to be a litigator, I'm the commercial person, but if you have the right team, you can achieve it. And that's why along the way, you need to build the right relationships. And it's all about relationships and having the right people in your corner, and you can do it.
Okay, so talking about relationships, how did networking help you in making this transition?
Okay. I know everyone says networking very loosely. I think in general, relationships are important. Every stage, from the moment even in law school, you network with your teacher, your friends. At every stage, it's important to have good counsel around you. To get into A&O, to be there, you had to kind of manage the people around you. And that was some form of networking. You didn't know your bosses before. When you got there, they were your bosses, and if you manage the relationship right, they continue to be people that you can relate with later. So Mr. Everybody is someone I can still call, and that's a blessing. I can still say, this is this, and he will advise me and tell me, okay, this is how a law firm should go. And that is priceless for me. Now, my boss at Etisalat, also the lady who showed me tough love, I'm still in touch with her today. I listen to her. That's another form of network, good counsel. To make that transition to Pavestones, I sought counsel too. I knew in my heart I wanted to leave. But one thing is, you have to still be practical, wise about it. Don't do something careless and just walk away and then you're broke. Anyway, so I sought people's advice, and that is some form of networking from even my pastor, my former bosses, my husband. Everyone advised me. But now, and kind of guided me into this law firm thing. You are strong, you are a good lawyer, you are excellent. Now, networking, the way we know it now, is very important. It's important now more than ever before as the managing partner of Pavestones. Why? Your clients, in fact, running a law practice is as strong as your ability to network and to meet people. To do the work, you should have built the skill sets to do the work from those other layers, those phases I told you about. So it's not a question of if you can do the work. It's not a question of, do people trust you enough to do the work? Can you give them confidence that you are the person to give that retainership to? And when Pavestones started, it was my business card and laptop and a table and going to events. I would take pictures, even on the Lekki, where they have all those events, advertisements. I would take a picture of it, put the details. You see me even airports, Ikeja, everywhere there was an event, I was turning up. I'm sure people know me, events. And I would strike up conversations with people there. Hi, hello. Yes, I'm a lawyer. Here's my business card, Pavestones, law firm. And I got some of my biggest clients from doing this. Some of them, it wasn't just one. We met at maybe the event in Ikeja. We met again at the event in Ikoyi. I added them to my newsletter and it just came together. And some of them are one of our biggest fans now. So definitely meeting people and building the relationship. And I'll just give you a tip. When I first started, sorry, I can't hear myself. Why am I echoing? When I first started, it's not echoing again. I wasn't great at networking, at least the way the world says, network, meet people. And that was something I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to go and talk to random people? But you're willing to build muscle. My partner, she had her people, and I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is so good. And how am I going to do this? But I was willing to put myself out there to talk to people. And I learned along the way from body language. At first, I was just shoving it down their throat. Hello, I'm Seun. I have a Pavestones leader. We can advise you something. And you can see they're looking at you like, gosh, this person's just chasing business. But along the way, I then learned that show interest in people. Most people just want someone who cares about them. So I learned to, instead of shoving down my business in people's throats, what I did was show interest. Get to events, what's your name, or what do you do? By the time you talk to a few people, or in fact, by the time you talk to someone and you're interested in what they do, they're going to gradually ask you what you do. You don't have to shove it down, just be interested in the people around you. Oh, okay, that's nice. How are you doing this? Sometimes I ask questions about their business. So are you having issues in this area? And before you know it, they say to you, what do you do? I say, oh, I run a law practice. Oh, that's interesting. And by then, some people are defensive when they feel you're just there to get business from them. But when they feel they've connected with you, they will be more willing to open up and do something with you. Yeah. And sometimes it's not even the business you should offer them. It might be, I can give you free advice. Oh, don't worry, I can, let me check that out for you and send it to you. Free, or we have newsletters, let me add you to that might be very useful. sometimes you need to find how you can help people. When they feel you're helping them, then they want to associate with you, and that's when you get their hearts. Over to you, Kemi.
Taking some quick notes. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hello? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
I was taking some quick notes.
Okay.
Got distracted there for a bit, trying to take my notes.
No, it's okay.
I want to make sure I don't miss anything as well. So,
okay.
Now to the next question. In your opinion, how has specialization helped transitioning? The fact that you specialize in contract drafting, has it helped you from A&O to Busola to Pavestones? Was your specialization useful in moving from different phases of law practice?
I wouldn't actually say I specialize in contract drafting. I'm a commercial technology lawyer. And what I would say is, firstly, you need to take time to know everything. I don't advise a young lawyer to just say, oh, this is my area, that's all I want to do. Because sometimes as you open yourself up to more, in fact, it's in that process that you discover yourself. You had asked me a question before about if I knew where I was going. Sometimes it's in the process of doing these things that you discover, I can do this, hold up. Sometimes it might be in your area that you are actually nervous, that at first, if someone had asked you, can you do that? You say, no, I can't, I'm afraid. But when you build muscle there, you find you actually have strength there. So my advice to people is first to learn as much as possible. Wherever you're working, open yourself up to opportunities, even if it's volunteer. Okay, yes, let me help you out. Even the litigation, I went to court. I stayed in the library late until I stayed in that library. I said, no, I'm not enjoying this one. But yeah, until I slept there and I'm like, this is all me. But yeah, I did it. And actually at A&O, you actually have the option of saying, I'm only in commercial, I'm only in litigation. I actually fought and said, no, I want to do both. Not really fought in case that I just asked politely. But I actually asked politely to do both. And I was given the opportunity. And I think each person must try to expose themselves to as much as possible. Then along the way, you begin to find your strength. And then you can say, this is me. This is me. If you want to specialize, if your law firm is just going to be in a particular area, fantastic, that would help with that. Or the specialization might also help in building your personal brand, because nowadays it's not just about the brand of your firm, it's your personal, it's what you are known for. So that can help you with time to be known that, when there's this kind of issue, like when it's technology, go to Shell, she's good at that. Your firm might be a full service firm, but people just know that, this person is good, and she's also a person of excellence. So whatever you put in her hands, she'll treat it like a baby. Yeah. So that's my advice. Have your area, your core area, but don't close yourself up to other things, because sometimes we know in parts. You don't know everything. You don't even know yourself well enough most times. Even now, I don't think I haven't ended yet. I'm on my way. And I'm not sure I've seen everything where I'm going or how big. So you need to open yourself up, because as you expose yourself to a lot, the opportunities open up for you.
Thank you so much, Seun. That was really inspiring, because some of us are all caught up with it. You need to specialize. You wrap your head all day looking at, where do I even want to go? So that was quite enlightening. Now to my final question before we go to the questions in the room. And somebody has already shot this question at you in the room, but let me just, ask it on my behalf and on behalf of the person, and that is the financials. So every time you are transitioning, there are financial implications. You took 7 months sabbatical, you went around looking for a job, you want to start up a new practice, you need to invest capital. Everybody knows that capital for law firms is zero, something that doesn't really exist on this side of town. So you're thinking of, I want to set up a practice. of course, you have to spend money to make money. So the question I have for you is, how did you deal with financial concerns at every point of transitioning?
Financial concerns at every point. I think lawyers have learned to live with less. So we don't get paid that much at the beginning. So if you're talking about from transitioning from A&O to, well, it wasn't a lot of money to live. And so I could kind of manage myself. But let me focus on financials for starting a business. Now, the law practice is actually one of the cheapest businesses you can start. It's low. The capital is very low. All you need is your business card, your laptop, and your knowledge. Yes, I know you want a nice office, you want a nice table. I initially started off, I put my table in someone's office, and they let me stay there. And I was typing from there, developing the website profile, this. But yeah, I had saved up some money. And yeah, it's good to have financial sense. So that's why I said, if you know where you're going, you don't even need to know where you're going. Just be someone who saves a bit. I saved up some money that made it possible for us to get a place. But we've been very sensible. We've been very sensible with money. We don't even pay. For a while we didn't pay ourselves, and we didn't pay a lot. So you need to learn to manage your. At the beginning, it's going to be uncomfortable, and be willing to take that discomfort. But from once you get one client, they're paying you, and the next client pays you. And the truth is that if you can't afford staff, you won't employ. If you can afford one, that's all you can afford to start with. Then you start with that, and you do the work with the staff. So you're only paying one staff salary and doing the work. By the time your client pays, especially you probably don't get one staff until you have a few clients or one client. So when you get the work, you just need to be able to charge your laptop and do the work, and they pay you, and you save the money. We did a lot of savings. We saved a lot from the beginning. We didn't collect a lot of money. We were not living la vida loca at the beginning. In fact, when we got an office, it was a small office space. When I moved, some of my, even the security man was, congrats, ma, thank you. Because my space was just even people you don't expect to notice, they're like, yes, you have space now. And that's where I was meeting that's how I was just us. Because I think you need to be very wise with how you spend money. You don't get a client paying you and then immediately you go and buy this or buy that. You have to save enough to ensure you can run the practice, even if the retainer is not coming in every month. And that's what we did. We were wise with savings, and we still continue to do that. I don't pay myself as much as I used to earn. We're still new. So I've started collecting salary. At some point, actually, we were not collecting salary. I'll be honest, I'm married, so I had some savings, I managed it, and I cut my coat according to my size, just managed myself. My partner and I decided we're not collecting salary for a few months. And that's what we did, and we saved our money. But now, when we thought we had enough, we started collecting salary. But we didn't just say, we have this amount of money, let's collect a lot of money. We kept it small. But I hope I'm getting through to people, because when I talk to lawyers and people, I get this, everybody just feels the money, I don't have this. And there's always, I don't have this, I don't have that. That's why I can't do it. And I don't agree. And people always tend to be like, it must be easier for you. But I don't agree. It's not. It's a case of you're determined and you're willing to do what you need to do to achieve it. You're willing to make yourself uncomfortable to achieve it. Are you willing to be uncomfortable, but walk into events looking but just don't look uncomfortable, even if you're uncomfortable. Powder your face. I can tell you, even at the beginning, there are times where I'm like, man, this shoe, I wish I could buy, but I'm like, no. Powder my face, confidence, go to people, hi, managing partner, blah, blah, blah. And as long as you can get people's confidence, you will get the work will come, the money will come. But be willing to be a bit uncomfortable at the beginning. But of course, you should have saved up. You don't, even if you want to make a move, you don't just drop it all. When I was living at Islanda and made that decision to move, I gave my boss, my notice period was 2 months. I told my boss a month before the 2 months actually, that, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to leave. Is it okay? Are you okay? I didn't just drop everything and walk out. I actually went to ensure they were comfortable and I'd put things in place. So don't make emotional decisions and say, oh, I'm tired, drop everything. Make yourself comfortable, save up money. Do whatever you can do, even consultation or whatever, put money together and then start.
Thank you so much, Seun. That was quite enlightening because I was thinking to myself, how do you go from getting a guaranteed paycheck in a Tisala to having to not buy shoe when you want to buy shoe? You know, it's a paradigm shift because you're coming from a place where you can have whatever, whenever, however, Arab money, like you put it, and then now you have to start, you know,
manage.
You're a strong woman, for the record. Okay, so let's move on to some of these questions here. Remy Coca is asking, and I think you've dealt with this, but I'll just read it all the same because we still have about 30 more minutes in this session, and I'll rope Busola in somewhere in there. Busola, I hope you're still with us. I'll rope her in.
Please rope me in too, please.
Okay, so it says, for most lawyers, the fear of the unknown, having a client base restrains them from starting out and getting their law practice. How did you deal with that? Now, you talked about it a bit earlier, so I don't want to have you repeat yourself. But what I find in this question that makes me bring it out is that you talked about savings, yes, but that restraint, you are setting out, and then, you know, there's fear of the unknown. You don't know, maybe your first client will take 1 year before they finally come, or you don't know whether your first client 1 year or so soon thereafter. You don't know. So I guess what this person is trying to say is, how do you deal with that uncertainty involved at every time you take transitioning step?
Yeah, there definitely will be uncertainty. I was not even knowing that, okay, this is what I believe I'm led to do. It wasn't just it wasn't that, oh, I had complete confidence and I wasn't nervous. In everything, you're nervous. Most times, if you don't know what is next for you, you can be a bit nervous. But you can put things in place. You have to believe in yourself, definitely. One thing that propelled me was the knowing in my heart that if you know yourself and you know that you have it and you will do a good job, believe that you will do a good job. Believe that you will attract it. But be intelligent, please. Strategize. Do your research. I believe each person has something unique to bring to the table. And look, when I started, when Ronke and I started Pavestones, we found that when we spoke to some people at events, they said to us, like, if I knew you guys existed a long time ago, I would have come. Like, a lot of lawyers say there's no work out there. There is work. There are people who are looking for lawyers. Every deal requires a lawyer. But the problem is everybody is doing copy and paste. Everyone wants to do it the way and the traditional law firm said it should be done. But if you have, and I guess my understanding, the experience I got from Etisalat also helped me, because I was a lawyer who used to instruct clients. Instruct lawyers. I was an in-house lawyer and I was instructing law firms to give us work. To do work for us. Now, when they send the work to me, half the time I'm not interested in 10 pages. You know how we lawyers, we like art. We'll write, Dida, Westford, go ahead for all sorts of Yeah, fantastic write-up. In my mind, because I was a lawyer then, in-house counsel. Oh, wow, fantastic. But the reason why I sent that job request to you is because we had an issue to deal with. At the end of the day, businesses are there to make money. If lawyers can just tune into that fact that nobody is really interested, the CEOs of multinational organizations are not interested in how beautifully you write. They want you to help them make the money or avoid risks in making money. So my approach to law was simplify it. Tell strategy, think for these people. What are they trying to achieve and how can the law help them achieve this? When I started talking to people from the point of view, look, I'm approachable and I don't complicate things. I understand that you're here for business and I want to support you. That was easier than, I hope you're not one of those lawyers. You'll be surprised that a lot of SMEs, a lot of companies, they run away because they think the lawyers are there. They are there. They are so far apart. For them, they imagine this law firm that they even some clients, even foreign clients, don't even wear suits. They don't want to wear your suit, and they should wear a suit, come and sit down, and then you speak big English and tell them why you are very important. Why I'm saying this is that if you can give people what they want, you would have deals, you would have work, but you need to know what they want. You need to be open to doing things differently. You need to understand what you have. It's just like Busola, like you had said, it would be good to hear from. You need to understand what you have, the way you think, and how it can be helpful. Some other people would not have done what Busola is doing because it's not normal, it hasn't been done before. If you can think strategically, if you have a commercial mind, understand as a lawyer that nobody comes to you because they just love law and legal writings. They come to you because they are trying to make money or avoid issues. Then advise them based on that. You would get work. There is work out there. You will get work if you are approaching it the right way.
Right.
I don't know
Thank
if I
you very
have.
much,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you have. You have. You have. This is a call to repentance, if you ask me, for people to find a new way to think. Okay, so I have a question. This question is going to be answered by both you and Busola. Busola, are you here? Busola? Okay, Busola is not, I don't know if she's in here yet, but so I'm going to start with you and then I'll ask Busola the same question. And it's, how did you deal with imposter syndrome at any transition point? I picked out a bit of that from what you said in your previous answers, where you were saying that there were times where you feel, I'm still learning. But there has to be an end to learning, and trust what you have learned thus far. So, but I wanted to look at it in line with this question, with the person saying, using the phrase imposter syndrome. Did you have to deal with it any time? Because did you have to deal with that at any time at each transition point? Let me just leave it at that.
Look, imposter syndrome, obviously, it's you thinking you don't deserve or you're not really what you claim you are. Look, when you start a law practice and you have your laptop and your business card and you're going to events telling them, for a modern law, you would feel an imposter. It will feel like you're lying because you're trying to give this impression that I have this law practice, but it's you and your laptop. So of course, I dealt with imposter syndrome when I walk up to some foreigners, some local, and I like to walk up to foreigners now because in case dollars. So, hi, yeah, my name is Seun. We have a law practice. Can I help you? In my heart, I'm like, I hope I can convince this person to give me the work. And yeah, you definitely will deal with that feeling of, can they trust me enough to do it? But you need to believe that, and that's why you need to surround yourself with good counsel. I remember one of the first, and this guy is now one of our major clients, one of our major fans. Wow. I really thank God. But I met him at Ikeja, an event at Ikeja. I drove there, went there, so dressed, so yeah, giving my business cards. And in fact, I was walking out and I saw him, and he's British. And I just thought, okay, let me say hello to this guy too and tell him about Pavestones. And I gave him my card and I said, oh, Pavestones is a modern law practice. We have a particular interest in technology and innovation. We'd love to support you. And his business is a tech business. And the guy said, oh, really? Do you really know technology? No, seriously, if you really are good at technology, I would know. And the law firm, he said his company currently uses one of these law firms. I won't say the name. Well, the big. I said, I don't think they know what they're doing. If you really do know, oh my gosh, I'll give you the work. And my heart, I remember my heart skipped a bit like, eh? One of those old law. I'm like, we really do know, and we can help you. Yes, and of course I've worked in this company where we are. Anyway, fast forward later. Yes, I will never forget how my heart skipped a bit when he was like, are you really sure? But he's my biggest fan, one of my biggest fans right now. We support him, we support his business. He has brought more, he has called people, he's always looking for people to introduce us to. Wow. So if I'm serious, he's always, in fact, amazing. Now, if I had gone with that feeling of, am I comparable to our magic circle who have been there for years, which is what they were using then, I might just have left it. But I literally had to call this guy again and meet him a third time before he finally became our client. And I had to keep saying, yes, I am. Yes, we can do it. So, as sometimes they say, fake it until you are. And now he's thanking us every day. Thank you. You guys are so. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? Well, okay, we're good. We're good. I mean, but it's not like he has asked us to stay overnight working. But he's so grateful for how well we're working with him. So believe in yourself. It really all starts with the law. It starts with your mindset and what you believe, what you think of yourself. If you can believe and show that confidence to people, they'll be attracted to you. Ignore the feeling of imposter. You're not an imposter, and with time you realize it. And do it prayerfully.
Thank you so much, Seun. I don't know if Busola has joined us now. Busola, are you on? I'd like to ask Busola this question, because all the big people she's always bringing, I'm always like, don't you think to yourself that, how can I relate to these people? Like, am I not so? It'd have been nice to hear her version of the question, but her version of her answer to the question. But when she gets back on, then we'll ask her the question. So this next question, I find it very, very interesting, because I want to know what you would advise. It says, this is from Nenjom Asuk. It says, how do you transition between different practice areas? So you said something earlier about expose yourself, keep yourself open to whatever comes. Don't just quickly narrow down your scope. Keep yourself open. So what would you say to Mr. Asuk? He says, for instance, transitioning from a firm which does strictly entertainment law to a firm which deals with capital markets. How do you sell yourself to such a firm? This also ties into how you sold yourself to your British client. But now this is talking of a firm, from a firm that does this to a firm that does this. How do you sell yourself if you are coming from zero experience?
Knowledge. As I said, you can't know it all. No, there's always something new out there. Always. Now we're all talking Bitcoin and there's a lot going on, and there's always something new out there. You need to, firstly, as I said from the onset, be a person of excellence. Be a person who is willing to stretch yourself to learn. Everything, you know, the great thing about the law, it's all there. It's in books, it's on the internet. But you have to be willing to discipline yourself to learn the skill. If you want to be in capital markets, read up. read the law, read everything you need to know. If it's because the question I've heard is in the context of you're still an employee somewhere and you're trying to move to another employment, because of course, if it's a law firm you founded, then you can also bring in experts who are good at it and obviously share knowledge and deliver. Be open to asking questions. Be open, even partners at many other places, old partners that you think, oh my gosh, they are old, they've been there. They're asking, they still call each other and ask questions. Be willing to ask for guidance from people who know it. You have a network, even from law school, from where you've worked or around you. Look for these people, call them, ask questions, research. The knowledge is out there. It's not hard. It's just a case of being willing to learn. Being willing to learn and being someone who can apply the knowledge properly.
So what you're saying is learn about this area you want to move into before you go there to sell yourself. Is that what you're saying? Before you go there to sell yourself, acquire some knowledge, then on that basis go and sell yourself. Is that what you're saying?
Acquire, of course, if you're going for an interview, you should have done some background research. You should have done some reading. You might not know everything. You might not be perfect at it. But if you're successfully able to get through, then please make sure you do background reading before you start the job so that they don't send you away. See, make sure you continue to research and build yourself. But the truth is, you would also learn. When I joined at Etisalat, I wasn't a telecommunications lawyer, I've done commercial. There are some principles that are just in law, there are principles that apply all around. And if you have a good foundation, you can apply it in different ways. It's just that the sectors change. So then you need to understand the sector specific laws. I hadn't done much in telecoms when I joined Etisalat. And in fact, when they gave me the job, I had done contracts. Yes, I'm saying contract job, but when we're talking contract, we're talking about technical telco kind of contract. And I asked the person that, do I need to read this? What do I need to read? And the person was just like, just come with your laptop to plug and play and start work. And I went. But there was one thing I did. I sat with people who were there and I asked questions. Please, how do you do? What's this? I asked questions. I sat with people, like they didn't need to know, but I went about asking people for clarity on some stuff. And then I did background reading. I read. It always starts from believing in yourself and having the right skills, being intelligent. And honestly, intelligence is really being able to stretch yourself and learn. Knowledge is out there. You just need to be willing to read and grow.
Right. Omo, are there people who are raising their hands? Because we also want to consider if there are any raise of hands so that I know how to apportion what's left of our time.
Okay.
Are there people raising hands who want to ask their questions first?
I haven't seen anybody raising hand, but I have a question, and that is yes. I have one or two questions. First question is very personal. Auntie Seun, I greet you. Please, I go to events regularly. I MC events. You have hammered it over and over that you go to events and you meet clients. Please, which events are you going to? Is it that I'm not going to? Number one. Number two, it is how you actually, because attract. I wrote it down when we were talking. As if for some of us that have equally founded, because you said you have, there was the apprenticeship stage, then there was the building stage, then there was the founding stage of your career. For some of us that have actually founded law firms, and the law firms are our laptop and our tables, how do we advance and attract good value? By value, I mean 1, employees, 2, clients, 3, resources.
Right. Employees, clients, resources. Okay. The first one you talked about which event?
Yeah,
Those events. Look,
that you go.
I don't think it's about the events you go to. Although even my team, they know that I say, please guys, check Eventbrite, check everywhere. Where are the events? What's happening out there? And then, as I told you, there are many events that are publicized on billboards. They're not events that are just targeted for legal. In fact, I hardly will go for the one that they're calling lawyers, because you're not going to give me work. In the law, we're in various sectors, and we advise various sectors. So even if it's runway fashion, technology, there are many things happening in tech space, art. There are many. Look, everywhere. The difference is that the only thing is you need to be willing to strike up conversations with people. I don't sit down waiting for people to talk to me. Whoever is sitting next to me first, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to introduce myself to you and talk to you. And as I said earlier, I learned that you don't have to shove things down people's throats. Literally just ask them questions about themselves. Get to know them. Find out about their business. And then hopefully you guide the conversation to what you do and how you can support. Sometimes it's not just, you might not get the work right there. It might be a case of building that relationship, calling again, checking on them, if you see potential there. Another thing we do is we share newsletters to people, whoever I meet. I give my business cards to the team, they add it to the client list, and we just share information, free information, so these people don't forget us. And yeah, in terms of attracting, what did you say, getting the right employees, clients, resources, I think I've kind of talked about clients in the networking. Also also even your phone book. Somebody knows somebody. Sometimes I've actually sat down and gone through my phone book and called people and said, I just want to remind you, Pavestones, we started, and we can support you. Look, you just need to be bold. Remember people from where you used to work. It's a network and you built it along the way. You just sometimes take some people for granted and you need to look at it again. Attracting employees. Put it out there, the word out there that you're looking for staff. But of course, when we talk about attracting employees, are we talking about being able to pay them, or are we just talking about, because there are always many lawyers looking for work. They're out there. It's just like you need to.
Maybe I should be more narrow. So
yeah.
What would you say at the time when you decided that, okay, let me move from this small place to, I don't know where you are now, but your website says you are the urban legal practice. Urban legal practice. I'm looking at your website like this. At the point you decided that it's not just you and Ronke and you want to add someone, what were the things you were looking for in that person?
Okay, good. That's a good question. So when we were looking to employ, both of us had a clear vision on what we're trying to achieve. And I think that's one thing that some new practices don't need to ensure you're clear. It's not a case of, I just want to start a law practice and then you start. You literally know that, okay, this is where I'm trying to go. This is what I want to be. This is how far we're trying to go, and this is how we want to be seen. As you can see, you say on my website, we are the urban legal practice, we're modern law practice. We try to simplify the law, we're trying to use technology and all. So, of course, I'm not the typical we're not the typical law firm where you just sit in your corner, respond to work, and then your boss is running up and down the place looking for clients. Our lawyers need to be good with social media. They need to know how to use it and put things out there. So when we were looking for staff, we were looking for people who could align with that vision, who had that ability to not just be lawyers that, this is all I do. We have lawyers who understand. We ask questions like, what do you do on social media? Are you good at publicity? Are you good with computer? Are you good with graphics? Our interviews are it's not just law. We're looking, because now, even in today's world, you're not expected to just have this legal skill and stick to it. And some of the things you take for granted, like how you're always posting on Instagram, LinkedIn, and how you can do this video, is actually a skill that can sell you up. We had someone who showed us some video he came up with, some animated video, and we were impressed by it because we thought how we could use it to convey information. So we're always looking for people that are modern too, who are thinking in that light, thinking of the law being exciting, being a law, the legal services that is easily approachable, that people feel is like your next door best friend, not the old school, we're far and we're expensive. So I think it's when you're clear on what you're looking for, then you find people who align. But there are people out there, and sometimes you could call HR people that you know in companies, or who can share it. Sometimes CVs have gone to some law firms and they are not using it, and they can share it with you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Seun. This has been.
Yeah.
I think impactful is cliche, but this is good. Okay, so more questions are still flowing in. I'm going to have to use my church mind, and my church mind now picks the question. There are 2 questions about partnership, because you have talked a lot, your partner. So briefly, okay, so in the morning session, Mr. Akpekpetu also spoke to partnership, and he talked about what he looked at in choosing his partners. Primarily, it was integrity. To him, integrity is 80%. Every other thing, skill or whatever, was 30% to him. So in one word, to you, what is partnership? Like, what should you look out for? Like, he described his own one word was integrity 80%, skill ability 30%. So using that as a foundation, what's your own formula for partnership?
Okay, I'm sorry, I might not, but I'll shorten it. Firstly, vision. We need to have a similar vision about where we're going. And Ronke and I share the similar vision on modern law and where we think the law should go, and we're both excited by how we were thinking. So we must work together. If you're not agreed, you can't work together. Secondly, where I'm weak, you are strong. Where you are weak, I'm strong. So we complement each other. We complement each other very well. So you need someone, if you struggle with saving or cutting down costs, you need someone who can help cut down costs. If you are good at something, it's just we balance each other out. So that's what we have. And then of course, a good heart, a good person, similar integrity, a good personality, and we have that, and that's everything else. When 2 people come together, you continue to work to ensure you can work well together. But we have been able to establish, we have those things. We have all those things. Yeah.
So a quick follow-up question before we move further. A lot of us have gentlemen's agreement partnerships. I've spoken with a number of young lawyers, and you hear, oh, I had a partnership with this person. Oh, great. Did you have a deed? Did you have something signed? What was the structure like? And then it goes, we just have an agreement, so I'm not asking you to divulge secrets, all your details. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm just saying is, what your structure, documented gentleman's agreement. In your documents, what are the principal things that you were looking at if it's documented? Or what should anybody be looking at when they are seeking to document? Thank you.
Okay. I think, how do I put this? So we actually took time to get to know ourselves, and we agreed because we didn't know ourselves before we started. We literally were introduced to each other for the purpose of partnering, and that was a major jump. And we agreed to kind of just get to know each other and start work. So we've done that. We have an agreement, we're still, I'll be honest, we haven't signed it yet, but I think it's there. It's, as Mr. Adekwetu said, it's integrity. We're very clear on how it works here. If we were ever to say, okay, it's not working, everything is very clear because we put structures in place and we're clear. Yeah, and what do you look out for? I guess it's the equity, how you're going to share your profits, how you share profits, salary, what you're going to pay, what's going to happen if the partnership no longer exists. Are you still going to get paid after that? You founded this law practice. In the future, if you become old and gray, are you still entitled to get something from the partnership? Who's going to be in charge of what, and who's going to be in charge of what are the areas of responsibility for each person? So yeah, we kind of developed it over time. And I'm happy that we didn't immediately jump and sign a deal, because as we got to know ourselves, we then knew that, okay, this is what we need to document. This is what we need to, and sometimes what happens, like we had a draft from the beginning, we drafted an agreement, but it was like a template and it wasn't personal. One person, it felt a bit tough, because when you're looking at this English template, if you do this, you get knocked off, it was hard, and I'm like, wow, this looks like a lot. But as we've gotten to know ourselves and we've worked well together, we kind of know the areas. We've even kind of agreed on how things will go, what we expect as founders, even when we leave the practice. We're on the same page. So it's easier that way to now draft and agree on something that both parties are fine with. So I think sometimes because if there's no integrity, what's the point of the partnership? So you should have a relationship that you can actually try each other out. Because we have partnership meetings where we discuss things and say, okay, in this area, okay, this is how I'm thinking, that's what I'm thinking. And those kind of things will still go into the drafting. So my view is, take time to know yourselves. Don't rush into signing an agreement, but do sign something. But don't rush into signing it, so that when you draft something, when you don't want to sign something that wasn't really based on the reality of what you guys are. It was just a nice template somebody sent to you. You want to sign something that actually deals with potential issues that you've already identified or strengths, and you already understand each other and understand how it should work.
Thank you so much, Seun. That was really real. That was because a lot of people give you the idea that partnership, you have to have it all figured out. You have to have it. The idea of people getting to know each other, that's actually real. In fact, the way the person drafted the question here, Ekene Ede's question is like, what were the things you looked out for, as if you're looking for a spouse or something? I found that question very, I liked it. It was very, to show that you should be looking out for something.
But the truth is, partnership is almost like marriage. So you should be looking out for something. It is, and it's as painful as marriage. If it doesn't work out, you can, even my former boss told me the same thing. It's like a tie that can really hurt if it doesn't work out. So you need to be clear on what you're looking for. And but even with marriage, you get to know yourselves, and then so it's the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much. We have other questions here. Some using my church mind. Some I think you have spoken to already. So issues about office space. You've spoken about that, giving your own personal examples. Issues also about building a structure when you started. You also talked about that and how you went about your building your structure, how you started your structure from scratch. That was really scratch. So I think you also talked about that. But the final question I'm going to take here is from Adejoke Adeshino, and it has to do with billing. It says
with what?
Billing.
Okay.
Billing. So did you have like a standardized billing system, or was it adjustable as you are just starting, so you think money half bread is better than, so, or do you have like an adjustable thing depending on relationships, client budget, etc., or do you have a standard billing system, you go all the way or there's no way? What's your...
Okay, so with law, I think you have that ability to be flexible. So when we bill, we consider, we do a lot with startups too, and startups can't afford what the bigger clients can afford. So you have to be reasonable, right? We do have our minimum that we say, okay, we can't take less than this unless we identify something other than just the work. Maybe it's more than just the money. Maybe we see that there are other benefits to working with this person, then we might be willing to do a bit less. What we've done from the onset and what we agreed to do from the onset was to have a mix. So we have a mix of major multinational clients and the smaller ones, and the major ones pushing the smaller ones, kind of. So the bigger ones, we charge, and the smaller ones, we adjust. And the truth is, because we have an interest in technology, we're very happy to be a part of people, like to work with startups who are innovating, because like Mark Zuckerberg and the rest, you don't know where they are going. So if you're going to say, because of this amount of money, I walked away from that might not be wise. So sometimes you need to see the bigger picture. And so sometimes I say to people, so I've had a startup call me, look, Seun, we don't have money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's okay. I want to support you. I believe in you, right? So you need to see. And sometimes you might want to, some of them, I like that one, I'm like, okay, I'll take equity in your business. So you need to see, judge it based on, where this person is going, and I'm willing to take this cut because I want to be a part of that. You can also see who would make you look good. Like we have one that we didn't collect too much from at first, although we adjusted it the next year, but still not that much. But they are the first in something, because they start the first in, so that will make you look good, because when you put it on your profile. So you always have to have those considerations. Sometimes you want to gather the experience so that you can sell it to other people and be recognized for it. So it's okay to mix it. That's my view.
Thank you so much, Seun. This has been time well invested. You have been very open. Iwoma says, I really appreciate her openness to share her experiences. It has demystified a lot for me. You have been really open, and the whole house can't thank you enough. So at this point, I'm going to hand over to Omo. Okay, I think Omo is... Omo, can you hear me? Omo?
It's frozen.
It's frozen, yes. So I guess I'm going to have to round up the session myself. On behalf of SLB and everyone who has been a part of this session, I'm looking at it, we've had 57 participants. That's quite impressive. And those are 57 paid people who are paid to listen to you. So, hey, there's something going on here. Thank you so much, Seun. We can't thank you enough. We really appreciate the time you have invested, the time you have spent getting prepared for this session, because I know you didn't just, zip in. You must have prepared adequately. It showed in your responses. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. So, Omo, we can round this up now.
My pleasure.
Okay. As Kemi said, Seun, thank you so much. I'm literally reading what somebody said. Thank you so much for the openness and the way.
My pleasure.
Remy Coca, after you answered that question, she said, you answered my question very well. You know, that's the much value that people have gotten from your session. You mentioned your social media handle. You mentioned that you look for, I went to your social media handle. You said you look for people that are social media savvy. So please, could you drop your social media handles so that if all your contacts that we can follow you on LinkedIn, social media.
Okay. It's Pavestones Legal. If you just look for Pavestones Legal on all the platforms. Do you know what the spelling?
Yeah. Okay, I'll just type it in the comment box.
Okay, thanks, Busola.
So from my side, I think I really did benefit from this segment, and everybody, I'm seeing comments. I enjoyed every bit of it. Thank you so much. Everybody is just really glad. I'm glad, particularly that at this point in the career of the firm, the growth is obvious, and you have been able to share that wealth of knowledge with us. I will just take it to Busola now. We'll probably have some closing words. And then we'll call it a day.
Thank you so much, Seun. And so I'm saying kudos to myself also, because when I was deliberating on this topic, I wanted somebody who was going to be very real, who will be able to share practical experiences, because I know, and I have had conversations with colleagues who are actually confused, people who do not know the next step to take. Particularly for those who are corporate counsel, it looks like some of them are stuck and they really do not know where or how next to move. So I looked at it to say who is not too far from us, and who is doing well and excelling and has been able to pivot different stages. So, and that was how your name came up. And I'm grateful that you accepted our invite. You accepted to do this. And you shared very real. Of course, I know that Seun is very real and practical. And
you can't keep me quiet.
so that's one thing. That's one thing I enjoy about her. She's very real and practical. She's going to give it to you the way it is. You either take it or you leave it. So thank you so much for bringing that touch, for bringing that part of you here again. Thank you so much. We appreciate. Thank you very much, Omo, and executive moderator Kemi.
Sorry, sorry, Busola, there was a question for you. Kemi had a question that you also needed to answer.
Sorry, it was when I lost
it's
connection.
About. Okay, so I think the question is about
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Yes. They say that how is it that you, Busola, you don't get intimidated when you go and meet all these big people that you know and you invite? Am I right?
Yeah, you are very correct, Omo. Yes.
So I think imposter syndrome. So interestingly, it was just last year I heard about that word, and for me, one of the things that I have come to accept or to realize about myself is I dwell more on my strength. You know, before now, the Busola you are seeing before now is the Busola that I couldn't come out to do this before now. But you know, before doing this, one of the things that has helped me was because I went on a journey of self-discovery. And you know, that was one of the things Seun talked about, that you have to know yourself. So, and I think one of the things, you know, one of the experiences of life that I have encountered and which has come together to shape me is the loss of my mother, the death of my mother. So I am grateful for that experience. I am not grateful and I am not happy that my mother died, but I am grateful for the experience of walking through that path, because it had brought out something within me. It has helped me to unleash my potentials. When I lost my mother, I felt naked. I felt completely naked, right? I felt like everything was taken off me, that I've been stripped of everything. And being an only child, no sibling, you don't have step siblings, but not maternal siblings. Being an only child, I've lived all by myself. I've lived just with my mom, all through life. So by the time my mother died, I felt that I was naked. I felt that everything was gone. And at a point, I was almost going to stop living. But thankfully, I did not, right? And then I went on a journey of self-discovery to find out who I was. I took a lot of trainings. I will tell you that between 2017 and 2018 or 2019, I have spent over 5 million in personal development. So it's something that I had to give myself into to ensure that, you know, I'm able to unleash my potentials and able to bring out that innate abilities within me. So for me, imposter syndrome was a new word when I heard about it last year. And, you know, I did a little bit of research about it. Do I have some traces of imposter syndrome? Yes. But have I allowed those traces to outshine my potentials, my strength? No. I'm focused on the things that I have control over. I am focused on the things that are my strengths. I downplay my weakness. And I focus and leverage my strength. Those are the things that I do. And and so it has helped me. And one thing that I have also, I am an unrepentant optimist. I am an unrepentant optimist. That is one thing about me. And while I was trying to get, you know, some of the panelists for this virtual summit, somebody said, that person, will you be able to get her? I said, there is nobody Busola would not get. I said so to myself. Was I confident I was going to get the person? No. But I was using that to reassure myself and to reinforce something within me, to also boost my confidence, to say, as long as this person is human, as long as this person lives on the earth, as long as there is one or two person that knows this person, then I will be able to get the person. So I think those are the things that have really helped me. Personal development has helped me a lot. It has really, really helped me. And some of the things I do are some things that I've seen people do. I just copy, and I copy very well, and I innovate. So I copy some people. I copy. So there is nothing new. There is really nothing new, but you know, it's just the creativity you put into it, the things you put into it. So you can look at what I am doing and you copy me. But in the process of copying, you put in your own ingenuity. You know, put in your own touch so that people would know that it is yours. And it's original.
Please allow me to add the heart that you put into it. And you put in a lot of heart.
Am I what?
I said it's about the heart you put into it. And exactly. You, Busola Ajala, you put in a lot of heart.
Yes. Thank you.
Very true.
Thank you. Very true. Well, again, so I think it's also one of my traits and it's also part of my upbringing. So today I was reflecting and I thought about it, that all these things that I'm doing, where did it come from? But I discovered that it was part of my upbringing. My grandparents were clergymen, so they would always want to see people succeed, not just themselves. So they are all part of my upbringing. They are all part of the values, the skills, you know, that I have imbibed over the years. And so, yes, the art is also, you know, is also there. The passion is also there. And so I think that's what keeps me going. But beyond all, I think that I wouldn't have been able to do all of this if God did not show me. God actually showed it to me that this is what I want you to do. When I was in Mobile, I wanted to resign in the year 2017. I was frustrated because at the point I wasn't enjoying, you know, what I was doing anymore, and I wanted to resign. And it was even I lost my mom also then, so I wanted to resign and go back into catering. But I thought about it, and you know, I'd even gotten a brand consultant that was going to help me through my, you know, rebranding for my catering business. But you know, a week to my birthday, and I was just like, God, I have so many ideas. And after now, if you don't, so I'm just going to say this, after now, if you don't know what to do, just one person, I will give you the privilege. I would walk you through what you need to do. Just one person, the first person to reach out to me, I would walk you through what you need to do. Because one thing is, I have a whole lot of ideas, and I cannot even execute all of them by myself. But so one serious person who you are confused, you don't know what to do, I can share one of the ideas I have with you, and we can see if it's something you can execute. If you can execute this, then I'll give you all the templates, everything you need to execute so that you can start. Just one person. You can
Busola,
even reach
the
out
business consultant.
You can reach out while we're on this
boiling.
Just one person. I'll walk you through, but you have to be diligent. You have to be, you have to be serious. You have to. I won't chase you. I would not follow up with you. You would come back with your report. You'll come back with your assignment. I will not chase you. I'll just give you the assignment and you will do. So those are the things that have really, really helped me. Those are the things that have kept me being personal development. There are a lot of things that I've denied myself of because I want to take one training or the other. And unfortunately, my co-partner in personal development is not in this room. I bully her. I am the, as in, I give it to my, I'm the best bully or the worst bully, whichever one you can call me. I will bully you. So those are the things that have worked for me. The way I bully others, I also bully myself, and I am very hard on myself. So to answer your question, imposter syndrome does not really work for me. It doesn't work for me, right? But are there some times that I doubt myself? Yes, there are times I doubt myself. 2 days ago, I was still crying in my room. 2 days ago, just 2 days ago, I was still crying in my room, and I put it on my WhatsApp status that please pray for me as laid in your heart. There's a part of there's a part of my life that I need to fix, and I'm concerned about that part. So I don't have everything all put together, but the ones that are working, I focus on it to ensure it works. And the ones that are not working, I'm also trying to make it work, but I'm downplaying my weakness and leveraging more on my strength.
Busola, let me just say I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of how far you've come. And I'm glad that you talked about how God led you. I tried to suggest it, but you were very open, and I had exactly the same experience, God telling me, no, it's not time. And when it was time, telling me it's time and giving me a name. So I love that. I'm proud of you, Busola.
Thank you.
Please, sorry, both of you. I'm sorry, I have one more question. This sabbatical and time off, where exactly did you go? It's like maybe it was there that both of you got the.
Busola, did you get sabbatical too?
Jazz.
I didn't get sabbatical. Okay, so there's another point in my life that I would share. In 2015, in June 2015, I just returned from a 2-day short leave where I went to bury my grandma. And being the first child, I literally emptied my account to ensure that I gave my grandma a befitting burial, because of course she was very, very instrumental to my upbringing. I lived with my grandparents, growing up. So by the time I got back to, I resumed back to the office on Monday. On Thursday, my boss called me and said, Busola, please tender your resignation letter. Resignation letter. Wow. And so it happened that, I had, it happened that my senior colleague had gone to initiate some things. Okay, so let's just leave that aspect. So, but that was how, the job just ended like that. It just ended like that. And I was devastated. I didn't know what to do. And I said, okay. I got back home for a while. I was shocked. I didn't cry. Then I think after a while, I cried. Crying is therapeutic for me. So it makes me fine. The moment I cry, the next thing I switch, and you would not know that, something happened to me. So I cried, seriously. And by the time I came out of that, I said to myself, okay, Busola, you're on leave. Enjoy the leave now. You've not been sacked. You are just on leave. Just assume you're on leave. And then what did I do? I just said my CV. I started sending it out again. At the same time, I made a proposal and I sent it out to all the banks within my area to say, because I took a survey of the banks. I realized that most of them do not have in-house restaurants. So I said, okay, can I come and be supplying you guys food and all of that? So immediately I started, thinking of what next to do, what's the next thing to do, how can I move from here? I didn't want to just sit at home and, just wallow in self-pity. A month after that, I got a job, right? I got a job and I just started the job. In fact, I even had to tell them that, please, I'd like to take my time to review it, and I made the proposal. Okay, this is how I want to do the work and all. Long and short, I was able to work for 3 times in a week, and it was a very flexible job. It wasn't a very fantastic job. It wasn't good. It wasn't better than where I was before, but it was better. It was better at that moment, and I was trying to put everything in place to ensure that I gave it my best. And while at that was when I got employment into Nine Mobile. So I think during that moment, I had to think that what do I want to do. Actually, the first idea I got about all of what I am doing now was legal consulting for schools. In that 2015, after I lost my job and I sat down back to start thinking of what to do, one of the ideas that came to me was you can start consulting for schools. Schools have issues. Schools have issues with mandate form. They don't understand. They don't even understand what is a mandate form. Parents who are divorced or separated, not living together. A father can come and drop the child, and then the mother will come and pick. It can become an issue for the child, for the school. As a lawyer, you can advise them, have a mandate form. Do this. What are the things you can put in place? So those were the things I was thinking of, for school consulting. But I got the job, so I left that, and then before these other ideas came. So my own moment, I think the final moment for me was when I lost my mother. It was when I lost my mother, and then I started praying and saying, God, what would you have me do? It was a week to my birthday, and I told God, you keep giving me several ideas. Which of them would you want me to execute? And I heard him clearly. He said, law. I said, law. I said, how? But I'm tired of law. He said, remain where I have placed you. I said, where? He said, Etisalat. He was Etisalat. And I said, God, no. I am your Duromo. I said, I'm not waiting, because I was tired at that point. I was tired. I said, I'm not waiting. Then again, I said, I'm not even sure it's God that is talking to me. So at that point, I did not hear anything again. At that point, I didn't hear anything again. So I just surrendered, and I said, okay, God, I've heard. I would wait. Please make the journey easy for me, because the truth is I am tired. And believe you me, before I knew, things just changed. Things changed. My mindset, my orientation, my disposition even to work in the office changed. And I started giving it more, right? And before I knew, things just started changing, and ideas started coming upon ideas, till I eventually got to where we are today.
Yes. Thank you so much. Please, Busola, that was very inspiring. From your story, the loss of your mom, and really and truly, it was a crisis. And right now, with this COVID-19 with crisis, and as Bayo said earlier today, we should never let a crisis go to waste. From any seemingly broken, sad, unfortunate event, great things can come. Thank you so much for betting this and teaching. I mean, look at how many of us were here. About 57 people were on this chat. About 200 people were here in the morning. And thank you so much. Closing remarks so that we have spent about 2 hours this afternoon. 2 hours, for me, worth it. Thank you so much, Seun. Thank you so much, Busola. Thank you so much, Kemi, for those insightful questions. Thank you for the insights, Seun and Busola. This is your story. You can never tell. The power of stories sometimes is even more, is deeper than some formula and practical principles. So once again, Busola, please can you just give closing remarks and announcements so that we can call it a day?
Okay, thank you everyone. I feel so emotional now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Seun. Thank you so much. From the comments, people got value. People have gotten clarity. I'm sure a lot of people will still want to reach out to you after now. Please, I think I would advise that in reaching out, please be direct. Please do not stress her. Please ensure you go straight to the point. Yes, please ensure you go straight to the point, and just be clear about your whatever thing you want to share with her, or whatever message you have. Please be clear. Do not stress her. She's very, very accessible, and I'm sure she's going to answer your questions. Thank you so much. Please, I would want to beg us. I would want to appeal. We have sent it out in the emails we sent. please tomorrow ensure that when you are signing in, ensure that you change your name on your device, because we accommodated more than the people that paid. I'm very aware of that. Tomorrow we won't do that. Please, so I plead with us. I won't sign in any Galaxy A32 tomorrow. Please make it your name. Make it your name, because it's intentional. We are so people on this call are people who appreciate value, who understand value, and who appreciate value, and those are the people we are going to give it to. So please ensure that when you are signing in, let the name on your device you are signing in from be your name, the name with which you made payments. If it is not, I am sorry, you will not be admitted. We have said it now, and please ensure that you comply with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, beautiful Kemi. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you, Seun. God bless you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Diro and Bayo. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. So we can now say our bye-byes and our thank you.
I want us.
Thank you.
He said something.
Yes. Please, tomorrow in the morning we are having drink. This Busola talked about it earlier this morning, but I think to line up because we're having international perspective. They're having the Deloitte's legal management consultant. We're having a business development consultant and a lawyer from Kenya, Germany and Kenya, respectively, come to speak with us. So I crave your indulgence, please. It is also a paid event. Please make sure you do pay, as Busola said. The account details have also been emphasized or shared. So once again, try and make sure you pay this time and sign in with the name that you paid with, because without doing that, you will not be granted access. Thank you, everybody. So we can say the bye-byes now.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for the session. Bye.
Bye. It was worth it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Huh? Okay, no. Thank you.
No, your payment for today covers all. It's just
Thank
one
you.
payment. You don't need to make another
So
payment.
it's what's
Okay.
Okay.
God bless you all.
Thanks to Busola.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to our moderators. Thanks to our speaker.
Thank you.
Off do something now. Who is it?